over the holiday, just putting on anything and feeling like a stuffed sausage. I'm jumping on my rebounder. I'm, eating carnivore. I'm doing everything that I think is the right thing to do, and nothing's working. But I had no idea what was going on inside my body until we did those diagnostic tests and you interpreted my results, and here we are.
Hi, Lynn. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Hey.
And I wanted to ask you some questions. And one of the big ones that I really am excited about is just having you talk about, all of the good results that you've had so far. And one of the ones that was really exciting for both of us is when you first started. But before we ask that first question, I'm going to ask you, like, where were you before you started holistic low carb method? What was going on that had you come into my program?
That is a great question. Oh my gosh. Because I was, all right, I was a year into carnivore. I had been doing carnivore since January 1st of 24. And I never saw any great results with weight loss. I had other great results, like pain free and a lot of non scale victories when it came to carnivore. But it was the end of last year. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, not only was I not losing weight, I was gaining weight like daily. I was up over 10 pounds from, where I had started, and I couldn't, and my mood was so horrible. I was a mess. I couldn't figure it out. I knew I didn't have time to figure it out because I don't know anything, all I know is to eat meat. That's what I do. And so then I heard you, Dr. Kilt's podcast, and I heard you talking about hormones and, all of this and this diagnostic tests you do and everything. And I was like, I need somebody who's going to go inside and figure out what's wrong with me. And that's when I called you. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what you found out what was wrong with.
It's so cool. It's like taking the car into the shop and looking under the hood and
Uh-huh.
just like, but it takes a mechanic or a specialist to actually see what's
Uh-huh.
actually going on inside with all the actual lived experience. And something that was really exciting, which was even eye-opening for me because, I have a lot of certainty and conviction. I understand my own program, but sometimes I don't really know exactly what each person needs until I hear what you need. And so your very first call, I just mentioned about do this, this, tweak this part of your diet, do this. And what happened?
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
the thing that happened that week?
I lost weight like immediately. I mean, and it wasn't a ton, but I was like, "Oh my gosh." And what did you tell me to do? Eat breakfast. You
We
need to eat
tweaked the
breakfast.
time that you were eating. Exactly.
Yeah, I was kind of doing OMAD and eating later in the day, just to be normal so I could go out to dinner with people and all that stuff. But eating eggs first thing in the morning was a total game changer. And then eating my second meal early afternoon and just being, going to bed, however many hours later, with an empty stomach, but still feeling satisfied, because I, eaten everything I needed. And it just changed, just flipping that stuff around. Yeah. It was just a matter of getting the nutrients when I needed them instead of, letting my hormones, my cortisol run the show.
Yeah, that was so exciting. And it was 2.5 pounds after gaining 10 pounds. And so it was like just really resetting your hormones and getting that balance you were looking for. But another thing happened too. So you got that weight loss, but what else cleared up when you got the weight loss?
My mood and so much of it too, living in the Midwest, it's just like the never ending winter, honestly. I think so much more of it was just the hormonal imbalance. You got me taking certain minerals that I wasn't absorbing and doing different things in order to get that going again. And yeah, that was kind of crazy, thinking that was doing me harm. So cut chicken out completely. And over the past, I started with you the first week in January, and here we are. Now we're in the third week of March. This was all happening much prior to this. Today I wake up, I'm within 7 ounces of my target
So cool.
pounds in 2.5 months. Like, that's incredible. And that goes a long way in making my mood better too, I have to say. It's like over the holidays and I'm just putting on anything and feeling like a stuffed sausage. I'm doing everything. I'm jumping on my rebounder. I'm eating carnivore. I'm just doing everything that I think is the right thing to do, and nothing's working. I had no idea what was going on inside my body until we did those diagnostic tests. You interpreted my results, and here we are.
And how does that make you feel overall now that we've got what's going on in your body? You're targeting what's happening in your body. You're losing the weight. You're almost doing weight goal. And you mentioned something last week that you were just like so happy.
Oh my gosh, it's a fantastic feeling. I mentioned something last week I won't be able to remember.
I was so happy. I just kept saying, I'm so happy.
It's as simple as that. I thought maybe I said something clever, but I mean, that's as clever as I am.
I remember the one thing you said when you were listening to Dr. Kilt's podcast. You had said the light bulb had gone off.
Oh, that's what I was saying before. This is what I need. I think I called you on New Year's Eve and you called me back New Year's Day or emailed you or whatever I did. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. Because you reach out to somebody on a podcast and you think maybe I'll hear from them. It's like, who am I? Just some whatever. I was so grateful because in that moment, I felt like there was hope.
There's always hope. And I remember you telling me that you were just feeling that hope and thinking, oh my God, this is fixable. All of this is fixable. Nobody has to live with what's going wrong. Everything is fixable. It's hormonal imbalances. And that's why we use the labs to find out what's going on in your specific body.
That's what I'm saying. I look at the world now so differently. I look at everybody out there that I come across, and I'm like, you have no idea what's going on inside your body. You might want to get that checked. I've been a very healthy person my entire life. From the time I was 21 until now, I have been very aware of everything I put in my body, everything from exercise to diet. I got water filters and then to be sitting there thinking, how could this happen to me? I'm so healthy. And there's a lot of people don't do everything that I've been doing. And then I think, well, why are they so healthy? But who knows? Maybe they're not. I don't know. I don't wish harm on anybody. All I'm saying is you might think you got it going on, but you might want to get it checked on the inside.
And that's really a good way to look at this. We didn't grow up with the idea of knowing that we could run functional labs,
Right.
get a base point, what's going on in our body, check that every year, get that checkup, and know exactly what it is that we can focus on, not just guess. And so
Yeah.
when we test to get that clarity, we could figure out how to balance our hormones, figure out what's going on inside the body, and then stop the progression, kick that back, support the bacteria so it doesn't get more pathogenic, and bring in the right bacteria, correct dysbiosis, and turn off the inflammation in the body. And then the depression, fatigue, brain fog all goes away. It's so
Right.
empowering.
Right. I remember thinking before I contacted you, am I eating too much fat? Am I eating not enough fat? Am I eating too much of this, too little of that? And I thought I could spend the next 6 months trying to figure this out. But that's going to take us right till June. And I'm a summer girl. I need to be ready for summer. Bathing suits, shorts, all that.
Right.
It's like I don't have 6 months to figure this out. And that's why working with you and 3 months I'm in. You didn't disappoint, Lori.
Perfect. So you're meeting your goals. You're just like half a pound away from the goal weight that you wanted to have specifically, and you still know that you can get the rest of the way out.
Yeah.
But you collapsed the time it took to get those results. And
Yes.
that's when two people working together in a collaboration really puts that power together. Because when you work with the like-minded individual who has the lived experience and understands functional nutrition, knows how to not diagnose, but interpret the labs to find out how to guide you out of the quagmire you're in, to find your weight loss and your solutions quickly.
Yes.
And so it
Your
can be exciting.
availability were the support that I needed. You know your stuff inside and out. And anytime I would have a question, you'd be there with an answer. And that's what, like myself, who's going through something like this, you need to know you're being heard because I am knowledgeable. I do pay attention. I've always paid attention to what's going on with my body, like diagnosing myself and being right, about a lot of stuff. And I appreciated that you took me seriously. You heard me, you heard my questions, you answered, you got back, and we moved on. I think we covered a lot of ground.
We sure did. You much met your goals in a 3-month period.
Yeah.
But then you'd had a head start too. Like you said, you did a lot already. You knew what you were doing. Your diet was dialed in. We just need to tweak everything. And that's where the labs can come in that hormone balance and just fix up what's not working.
Yeah.
And it's empowering to have someone help you do that and get it done quickly so you can enjoy summer and get into that swimsuit and feel it just beautiful. Back to beautiful.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, what would you tell people if they were thinking about maybe joining this program?
Oh, I would tell them just do it. Don't spin your wheels. Don't waste your time. Reach out, find out if you're doing everything that you think should be working and it's not, then reach out and get the help. Find out what's going on inside of you, especially women our age. Our hormones are shifting and flagging and spiking and going all over the place. You got to get that stuff dialed in. We don't have to suffer and we don't have to question it.
Everything's fixable. We just don't know what it is until we figure out what's going on in the body.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
With somebody who's got that lived experience.
They say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it's broke, figure out.
Awesome. Well, thank you for this and helping empower other women to make the choice for getting healthy. Because if we don't live our life as a health adventure and to look outside of the standard medical paradigm, then you're just choosing to stay sick, and nobody should have to suffer that way. But people just need information. So this information from you is going to help empower somebody else to make that choice for health, because we all need that support. And sometimes we just don't know where to look for this information.
Exactly. And again, when you get to a certain age, everybody says, "Oh, that's just the way it is." And that's so not true. It doesn't have to be that way.
You've just given yourself the gift of the next the next decade to be your best decade.
Oh,
Yeah, you're turning 60 this year. Happy birthday. Look what you gave yourself for self-care, right?
that's how I feel. Just
Yeah.
like 60, a roaring lion.
We don't have to look old at 60. You don't look old at all. You look gorgeous. I'm 62. I've got the energy of somebody in their 40s. My legs look like they're in their 40s because the more we move, get active, and we turn on that brain energy, there's nothing that we can't do if we choose to do it. But we just have to turn on that energy, and we just have to figure out what's blocking our energy.
And that's how I feel too. I might be turning 60, but I feel like I'm in my 20s still.
Right? It's so cool. That is what everybody I talk to wants to do. They want to have the energy, the power, and the ability to get down on the ground and play with their grandkids and know that they could be active and not have to worry about not being able to do that, just to enjoy that part of life and to be able to impart and show them that we can be healthy and that you can be healthy too. And this is how to do it.
Yeah.
We have to show our daughters and granddaughters, even our grandsons, how to do this.
Be healthy.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate all of this because it's going to help empower somebody.
Thank you for all you've done and continue to do. I totally appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you. You've been such a joy to work with. Thank you too. All right.
Bye-bye.